Among all the female characters in the series, I have pretty good reason to say that Horikita Suzune will end up as Ayanokoji partner in the future. After volume 12.5 where Karuizawa Kei is finally over, there is a vacant spot to be Ayanokoji girlfriend, and several candidates are ready to fulfill that position. Among the candidates, Horikita has the highest chance to actually make it. Not because she knows him the longest or loves him the most, but because Horikita is the most unique compared to the other love potentials, and Ayanokoji also put the most attention on her. The uniqueness of Horikita could be divided into 3 different factors: her motivation, her difference with the other girl, and her relationship with Ayanokoji. Let's start with comparing Horikita with the other leaders. It's no exaggeration to say that every class leader has the same motivation, which is to graduate from Class A. However, the reason behind it is completely different. Sakayanagi and Ryuin fight for their own amusement. Graduating from Class A is just a bonus. Ichinose fight for her classmates, but so far she hasn't shown any personal interest for Class A. However, Horikita is different. She didn't compete because she enjoyed it or because she cared about her classmate. She fought because she believed graduating as Class A is a checkpoint to gain approval from her brother and Ayanokoji. Horikita has the strongest motivation, but she lacks the ability to achieve it. That's why she needs to learn and train to become a better leader, and that is where Ayanokoji took a part. While Sakayanagi and Ryuin want to beat him, and Ichinose wants to own him, Horikita is the only one who didn't make Ayanokoji his final goal. That's obvious because they were classmates, so it kept her from being obsessed and allowed her to grow with the best possible teacher. Horikita's goal involved 2 of the best students ever to attend ANHS, but she didn't want to beat or surpass them. Since her conversation with his brother in Volume 10, she realized that she would never surpass Ayanokoji, but she also didn't need to. Years of misunderstanding with her brother make Horikita realize that she only needs to focus on herself, and being obsessed with Ayanokoji will only bring negative results for her. We already saw how Ichinose got broken or how Sakayanagi made illogical actions because of their affection toward Ayanokoji. So far, Horikita managed to dodge it, and that kept her focus on her goal. Her motivation is what makes her relationship with Ayanokoji so unique. While the other girls were desperate for him or blindly trusted him, Horikita kept a safe distance where she could objectively see what kind of person Ayanokoji actually is. In Volume 10 First Year Arc, there was a side story that clearly told us why Horikita could not put her trust in Ayanokoji. Right after the class bull exam where Ayanokoji got first place in vote, Horikita confronted Ayanokoji to ask him how he did that, but Ayanokoji simply answered that he didn't do anything. That was the moment Horikita felt fear to get close to Ayanokoji. After Ayanokoji leaves, Kei surprisingly approaches Horikita, asking what they were talking about. Horikita answered honestly, saying that Ayanokoji didn't trust her. Hearing that, Kei responds with another question, saying that you cannot trust someone who isn't trusting you. Horikita flinched at that obvious word, but quickly responded that she could not trust Ayanokoji because she believed she would witness something scary, and she felt like she would get betrayed. That was something that Kei didn't understand, since she has nothing to fear anymore. However, she gave Horikita another piece of advice. If Horikita keeps being scared, her relationship with Ayanokoji will never begin. Her words remain deep in Horikita's heart forever. This scene draws a line between Horikita and the other girls. Even though he is the only one who Horikita could open her heart to, she keeps wary of Ayanokoji because she still cannot see what kind of person Ayanokoji actually is. And like Kei, who stops questioning and just becomes an obedient tool, Horikita always questioning Ayanokoji's actions. She is doubting him, but that also means she wants to know more about Ayanokoji. There are a few moments where Horikita was asking that kind of question. She wants to know what kind of childhood Ayanokoji had, where he lived, or what kind of education he had been through. She wants to know more about Ayanokoji's past because she believes that kind of personality is not something that is just born that way. That suspicion already exists ever since Shabashira told her about Ayanokoji's entrance exam score, where he got 50 in all exams. Thanks to that, Horikita is always doubting Ayanokoji, and believes there is always some hidden meaning behind his words and actions. Maybe that is the reason why it took so long for her to develop a romantic feeling for him. However, Ayanokoji never answered her question properly. either about his past or his relationship with Yagami and Ichika. There is just something that Ayanokoji cannot share with her. At the end, Horikita chose the extreme way, which is to ask Ayanokoji's father directly. In the short story from volume 12.5 second year arc, there is a scene where Horikita and Ryuen were waiting for Atsuomi after the three-party meeting. Of course, Atsuomi didn't tell her anything about the White Room, but Horikita offered as a proof that she really wants to understand her invisible neighbor named Ayanokoji. Ayanokoji and Horikita relationship is deep and complex, where we cannot simply call them a friend or classmate. For Horikita, Ayanokoji is an irreplaceable classmate, and she cares for him. She apologized when Ayanokoji must destroy his own group of friends by expelling Sakura, and she also worried about his feelings when he expelled Meizono. For Ayanokoji, the way he looks at Horikita is even deeper. Ever since his talk with Manabu in volume 11, Ayanokoji has already decided to spend the rest of his school life helping Horikita. Or maybe experimenting is a more suitable word. For the entire first year, Ayanokoji tried to live as a normal high school student and hide his ability so he wouldn't attract people's attention. We never got the exact answer why Ayanokoji did that, but I think he chose to live that way because he had enough of being observed. In the White Room, he spent his entire time being monitored, and after he got his freedom, Ayanokoji chose to enjoy his attention-free days before he ended up returning to the White Room. However, after a brief talk with Manabu, Ayanokoji chose to take a bet and sacrifice his quiet life to see what kind of person Horikita will turn out to be. Ayanokoji is the one who watches over Horikita the closest, and he understands there are numerous possibilities of things she could achieve. According to Manabu, Horikita was just an imitation of him. She kept copying what her brother did and never developed her real personality. After volume 11.5, Horikita decides to stop being obsessed and finally walk her own way. Horikita is just like a baby who just starts to figure herself out. Different, but similar to Ayanokoji. Ayanokoji never developed any real personality when he was in the White Room. His emotional growth just started since he enrolled at ANHS. That's why he is interested in Horikita, and he put himself as an observer to see what kind of path Horikita will take in the future. I could say that Ayanokoji tries to create his own White Room with the whole school as the students, and himself as the instructor. He was trying to learn, and so far, Horikita had shown the most growth as a person. Horikita might be the weakest compared to the other class leaders, but she was blessed with talented classmates. The problem is how she could gather them together. Not only that, more than half of the students in the class are just a burden for the others. However, they managed to compete with Ryuen and Sakayanagi class, and that was because Horikita managed to put everyone together, even though Koenji and Ayanokoji did most of the job. Class D finally rose to Class A, and everything was going smoothly, but Ayanokoji decided to raise the difficulty. Back in Volume 6 second year arc, Ayanokoji explains what plan he has for the third year arc. He will bring Horikita class to the top, and then he will change class and teach Horikita about the reality that she cannot defeat. That will be the final test for Horikita, and Ayanokoji believes she will never beat him. However, Ayanokoji also wants to believe in a different ending. He wants to be defeated, and that will be a new learning experience for him. He knows it's impossible, but, once again, he wishes to be wrong. It's only after volume 12.5 that Horikita starts to develop romantic feelings toward Ayanokoji. That was the moment she realized Ayanokoji had already become a very important pillar of her high school life. Ayanokoji already taught her a lot, but Horikita also gave a lot to Ayanokoji, even though she didn't realize. Back in volume 10 second year arc, Ayanokoji showed his smile for the first time. Ayanokoji asks Horikita what she will do if she could achieve victory by expelling Ibuki, but Horikita cannot give a proper answer. Horikita's answer was in the scope of Ayanokoji's expectations. He stated that he almost finished analyzing Horikita. Horikita still cannot decide what kind of leader she wants to be, but she will keep trying to see how far she can go. Horikita already took the first step for her to change, and it gave Ayanokoji some strange feelings. And then they drank their remaining coffee. When they started copying each other's responses, Ayanokoji felt like they were on the same wavelength, and he found it strangely funny. And that's how he smiles, not a polite or conscious smile, but the natural one. Ayanokoji feels like a drop of color had been added to a blank sketchbook, but he was wondering why Horikita is the only one who can make him smile. A growth, or maybe just some silly things that have nothing to do with everything. After that, at the end of volume 11, Ayanokoji invites Horikita to walk to the school. He just wants a small talk, the things that have nothing to do with the special exam, because almost their entire conversation is always talking about the exam. He wants to talk about meaningless things just like a friend who already knew each other for long. However, the most important part was when Horikita asked Ayanokoji to tell her the truth someday, but Ayanokoji responded by saying that he cannot guarantee anything. Ayanokoji will return to the White Room, and there is no guarantee that he will ever see the sunlight again. However, it's already confirmed that Horikita and Atsuomi will meet again in the future, and that means there is a high chance Horikita will meet Ayanokoji again, so Ayanokoji could tell her the truth. If we look at everything that Kinugasa already told us, he has already written Horikita in a very different way than just a normal high school girlfriend. I hate to say this, but Horikita's plot armor is already too strong for any other girls to compete. She is the one who is always questioning Ayanokoji's actions, and she will understand what Ayanokoji wants from her after he moves to another class. For Ayanokoji, Horikita is a very important piece in his game. However, what will happen after everything is over? What kind of relationship will they have if they meet again in the future? I really have no idea. It all depends on what kind of direction Kinugasa will take after graduation. It's also hard to imagine Ayanokoji will develop romantic feelings toward Horikita. The only thing that seems suspicious is when Ayanokoji offered Horikita to become his girlfriend after he broke up with Kei. That offer could be freely interpreted as a joke, but sometimes even a joke has its own meaning. He didn't give that offer to Ichinose or Hiyori. He offered it to Horikita, and just Horikita.